Hey, I'm Prompty, and welcome to Stellator 612. This is your go-to channel for the latest AI tools, insider facts, and crucial updates, all designed to help you save time and make money using artificial intelligence.
$3.6 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That's the valuation of Whoop, a company built by a guy named Will Ahmed. He's one of two founders whose playbook we're going to break down today. And the other? Well, that would be this number, 78. That's how many startups serial entrepreneur Simon Squibb has poured his money into over a 30-year career. So, you've got two founders, two really different journeys, but you know what? They follow some surprisingly similar rules for success.
Look, these guys have built actual empires from scratch. And we've spent hours digging through their advice, their interviews, the whole shebang, and we boiled it all down into one core playbook. We're going to give you all their hard-won lessons in the next 5 minutes.
So let's get into it. This is the Entrepreneur's Playbook, a guide built from the wins, the losses, and the lessons of two people who have actually been in the trenches and built something huge. First things first, and this is maybe the most important part, it all starts with the right mindset. Before you even think about a product, a business plan, or funding, both of our founders agree. You have to get your head right. The internal game comes first. So, Simon Squibb has this awesome take on it. He says that this whole hunt for a unique idea is a total trap. The real starting point, he says, is to find something you just genuinely love doing, something that starts as a hobby, and then it becomes an obsession. That's where the real fuel comes from.
And what's so cool is that Will Ahmed says pretty much the same thing, just from a slightly different angle. For him, it's not about finding some gap in the market. It's about finding a problem that hits you personally. It has to feel authentic, something your heart, not just your brain, is screaming at you to go and solve.
And this leads to a really interesting paradox that Squibb talks about all the time. He says that A students, well, they're often paralyzed because they're terrified of losing, of not looking like the smartest person in the room. But D students, they get used to failing. They actually learn to embrace it, to love losing, because they understand it's just a part of the process. It's a lesson, not an ending.
And this isn't just some motivational poster quote. For Will Ahmed, this was his reality. This number right here, over 100. That's how many rejections he got from investors, from potential hires, all in his first year. He literally had to learn to love losing just to keep showing up the next day.
Okay, so your head's in the right space, you're ready to embrace the process. Now what? Well, the next huge mental shift is this. Stop looking for an idea. Start looking for a problem.
Will Ahmed has a brilliant term for the key to this. He calls it a contrarian insight. All it means is, what's the one thing you believe about a problem that nobody else seems to get? For him, it was realizing that while the entire fitness world was obsessed with tracking exercise, his contrarian insight was that the real game changer was measuring rest and recovery. Now, here's the kicker. You don't take that amazing insight and try to sell it to the entire world on day one. No way. The real strategy is to own a niche. You start in a tiny pond, a market so small that the big fish, the Nikes, the Apples, are totally ignoring it. It's not worth their time. But for you, it's everything. It gives you room to breathe and build a dedicated fan base. And I mean, Whoop is the textbook example of this. They didn't go after casual gym goers. They started with the super tiny, super specific market of professional athletes. Once they proved their value there, then they expanded to serious fitness enthusiasts. And only after they dominated those niches did they go for the big, broad, aspirational market. It's just a perfect cascade. Okay, so you have the mindset. You've found your problem. Now, how do you actually plan for growth? Well, this is where our two founders could not be more different. It's fascinating.
First, you've got Simon Squibb's take. He thinks traditional business plans are basically garbage. Why? Because they're way too rigid. The second you step out into the real world and, get punched in the face, that fancy 20-page document becomes a prison that stops you from adapting.
So what's his alternative? The mind map. It's so simple. You put your hobby, your obsession right in the center. And then you just start branching out. Could it be a podcast? An app? What about a team? How could it make money? It's a living, breathing thing that lets you stay nimble and explore every weird idea that pops into your head.
Okay, so you're thinking mind maps, got it, be flexible, and then you see this, 70. That's how many pages were in the business plan Will Ahmed wrote before he even started Whoop. A plan so detailed, he says it basically mapped out the company's entire first decade. So yeah, two founders, two completely opposite approaches to planning.
So, whether you're on Team Mind Map or Team 70-Page Bible,
A plan is just a piece of paper if you don't execute. And that means two things: building a team and selling your vision. When it comes to hiring those first crucial people, Will Ahmed's advice is gold. He says you have to find missionaries, not mercenaries. He breaks it down into these 3 C's. First, compatibility. Can you stand to be in a room with them for 18 hours a day? Second, complementary skills. Are they good at the stuff you're bad at? And maybe most important, commitment. Do they want equity in the mission more than a fat paycheck? And once you have that team, you've got to sell the vision. Squibb's rule here is simple, but it's everything. Sell the sizzle, not the steak. The steak is just the features, the what it does. The sizzle, that's the why it matters. It's the outcome, the feeling, the movement. Think about it. Steve Jobs never sold you on a processor speed. He sold you a tool for the crazy ones. That's the sizzle. All right, let's pull back for the final piece of the puzzle, maybe the most important one. The real long-term goal isn't just to build a profitable business, it's to create a brand that lasts. And I don't think anyone's ever said it better than Simon Squibb: culture will eat strategy for breakfast every single time. Your best laid plans don't matter if you don't have the right values, the right culture guiding your team when you're not in the room. That's the stuff that actually endures. And this isn't just some fluffy concept. Your business model is what actually hardwires that culture into the DNA of your company. Will Ahmed explains this perfectly with Whoop. When they just sold the hardware, a one-time sale, the entire company was incentivized to just ship more boxes and find new customers. But when they shifted to a subscription, everything changed. The incentive became keeping existing members happy and engaged. The whole company's focus shifted to providing constant value, which forced them to build a better brand and a better product. So there it is. That's the playbook. It starts with obsession, it learns to embrace failure, it finds a unique insight into a small problem, and it builds a culture that's more powerful than any strategy doc. The only real question left is, what problem are you obsessed with solving?
Want to check it out for yourself? You can test drive or purchase the tool using the link in the description. It's an affiliate link, which means you won't pay anything extra, but we'll get a small commission for the referral. It's a great way to support the channel. Thanks. For more tips, updates, and powerful AI tools, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. This is Stellator 612 over and out.